Hey friends, welcome to Reasons for Roots. So if you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I have this one obsession, and it is Rod and Staff English. We have done Rod and Staff English from 4, 5, we will do 6 this year, and we have done 8. So most of the upper guides we have went through. And so I just want to show you a little flip through of what Rod and Staff English looks like and the differences between 4th and 5th grade versus middle school guides. So with Rod and Staff, they have their signature colors. So every grade is a certain color for each subject. So for 5th grade, you have blue. I think the math books are yellow this year, so they're beautiful books. They are so just pleasing to the eye when they're sitting on the shelf. So we just love them for that purpose as well. They bring joy just by looking at them. So with the English 5, we started with English 4, so I have not done the younger guides with English, with Rod and Staff English. I know some of their younger guides are more consumable. But with the 4 through 8, I know are the hardbound textbook style. And so for Rod and Staff, you can get the whole set, which is the test, the worksheets, which are like practice worksheets, the student book, and the teacher's manual for around $50, which is a very reasonably priced curriculum. If you have a large family, you could reuse this definitely because they are so well made. Okay, so let's look into English 5 student book. So one of the reasons why I love Rod and Staff is because I do believe it is a little bit advanced. It's very thorough and advanced in my opinion. A lot of people use Rod and Staff not for grade level, but for skill level. So I will talk more about that in a second. But my daughter, she stays right at her grade level that she would be in public school. So, but I will throw in this disclaimer. She is very good with grammar, English, language arts. It comes very natural to her. So this challenges her enough to keep pushing her forward. So I will say that is a challenge enough for a student who is very advanced for them to enjoy it and not get bored. Okay, so for chapter 1, you see there are working with sentences, more about sentences, nouns, verbs, more about verbs, pronouns, adjective and adverbs, punctuation, prepositions, conjunctions and interjections, capitalization, reference books, and more punctuation. So there's around 120 lessons in most Rod and Staff English. This one has 119 lessons with several writing lessons throughout the book. So the writing lessons are marked by the star to the side and in bold face. So this is a complete writing and grammar curriculum. Okay, so I will show you how we use Rod and Staff English. So let's just look at lesson 22. So you will see that it has the lesson here, and the lessons are usually pretty detailed. They give you tons of example problems, and it also has a remember box here. So with the teacher's guide, so you'll see the teacher's guide has the student text in the box here. So that is exactly what your students are looking at. So we basically just read through the lesson together. She follows along with me, or I may have her read some important parts here. And then it also gives notes to the teacher. The teacher's guide has an oral review, and it gives you hints to presenting the lesson. It also goes over here and helps you to teach the following points. So most of the time, just reading through the lesson is enough for her, but sometimes I will need to pull out some of the helpful hints through the teacher's guide. This is a phenomenal teacher's manual. It really holds your hand and is scripted for you to help you teach English. So whatever your student is looking at, you have right there in front of you. And so the way we do it is we do our lesson, and then we will do the oral drill. We will do that orally. And this is one of my favorite parts of Rod and Staff, is the oral drill section. So we basically just go through that orally, and sometimes it's a little longer than others, but then you will have a written practice, and you will also have a challenge exercise or a review exercise. So most of the time we do not have to do the written practice. After we have done the oral drill, we usually call it done for the day. But if she needs some extra review, we will also do the written practice. Most of the time we do it orally. So very rarely do I have her actually do the written practice written out. Most of the time we do all of her practice orally, and that helps very much for her. You can see right here, I told her to do the even on the written practice. So every once in a while, we will do that. But I love how it has enough review and practice for us to go through. And like I said, most of the time we go through that orally. You will have writing lessons throughout the book. So you will notice here with the student text for Rod and Staff 8, how they will have a lesson survey at the top of each lesson. So this is basically a breakdown of the key factors of this lesson. You can see the print's a little smaller and the lessons get a little longer. So we actually took 2 days to go through each lesson for my 9th and 11th graders this year. So we didn't quite make it all the way through. So this is English 8, but this is very much suitable for high school students. I had compared this with a high school curriculum, and I thought English 8 from Rod and Staff was above even it. So you will see that the lessons get longer. So we took 2 days to go through these lessons because they were a little bit longer. A lot of times, if I know that they're going to get the concept easier, we would just review from the lesson survey, and then I would see if they still remembered it by going to the class practice. So with the middle school books, you no longer see the oral drill. You see the class practice. Now, I still use this the same way as I use the oral drill with the younger guys. So we would just do the class practice orally, and if needed, we would do the written exercise orally as well. There's also review exercises here. We would go over the review exercises orally, and then if I have went through this lesson for 2 days, and if I saw that they still needed some more practice, I would pull out the worksheets. So we did not use all the worksheets. It wasn't something I used for every lesson, but it was something I used as a resource if I knew that my students needed more practice. So if you have a child that kind of struggles with language arts or with grammar, this is a good program to help them get in tons of practice, because not only do you have the oral practice and then the class practice or written practice, then you have review exercises in your book. You can also buy the worksheets for, I know, for 4th and up. So this was a good tool I used, when needed. So basically the same thing. They have written, they have writing lessons as well. So the writing lessons in this book are indicated by the pencils on the edges. So when you get to the pencils on the edges, you know, hey, that's a writing lesson. And there's several scattered throughout this book. So this is plenty to be a high school language arts grammar program. grammar and writing program. So another thing with Ron and Staff, you will have the answers to your test as well as to your worksheets in the back. So if you chose to purchase the worksheets, you will have the answers to those worksheets. It'll tell you which one's right there at the top, and you will have your answers there. And then of course you also have the answers to your test if you choose to use the test booklet. So that's my very simple flip through of Ron and Staff English and a little bit of comparison between the younger guides and the middle school guides. I hope y'all enjoy this. Ron and Staff is a great publishing company. If you are looking for a new grammar program, English program, I highly, highly recommend this. We have enjoyed it. It's a no nonsense type of curriculum, and we get through this in less than 20 minutes. It takes us to do a lesson here, and I know my children are grounded in English because of Ron and Staff.